نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming here today. It's always good to get with the brothers and have a discussion. But you guys came on a short notice, which is good. So I'll just give a brief introduction about myself, and then we'll just introduce ourselves, and then we'll go into the discussion. So, Assalamu alaikum viewers. The topic for today is studying your university in Darwin or going interstate, pros and cons. Yeah. So myself, my name is Kashif. I'm a volunteer at UMNT, teach at Quran Academy, and work with a YES group. So the YES group is a Youth Empowerment Strategy Group. Also myself, my background, I'm a mechanical engineer. I've done my engineering back in India. So I grew up in Oman, did engineering in India, and then moved to Australia for my master's. So I did my master's from Charles Darwin University, and then I've been working in Darwin ever since. Yep. So that's my background, and I'll pass on to.
Okay. I'm Maaz. My name is Maaz. I was 1 year old when I moved to Australia. I grew up here as a primary school, middle school, high school student here, local here. I went through Bakewell Primary School, Darwin Middle School, Darwin High School. I graduated 2 years ago now, 2024, class of 24. And I graduated with an ATAR of 99.70, placing me tied fourth and fifth position in the NT. And now I'm studying medicine, going into my second year down in Adelaide University, South Australia.
Wow, that's a big CV. Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Adel, and I am a GP in training. I was born overseas in Saudi Arabia, then migrated to India, then migrated to Australia when I was in my primary school years. Finished up my education, high school up here as well in Darwin, and I did medical school up here as well. And here I am, volunteer with the UMNT, and lovely to see where we go.
Oh, that's lovely. So Adil, you're already a doctor.
Yes, correct.
You're already a doctor, and you studied medicine in Darwin.
Yes.
At Flinders, and Maaz is going to become a doctor, and he's obviously a top student. He's NT-stop export, a premium export to South Australia, and I'm sure South Australia is happy to have him. I guess this is good for us because we got decent exposure here in terms of someone who's come from an international perspective like myself. I've come from overseas, so I've got a different perspective. And you both sort of grew up here, and one studied here already, and he's working, which is amazing. And one is studying interstate. Obviously, you would have had offer letters from Darwin as well, but you decided to move it in Adelaide. So
yes.
Do you want to shed some light? What was your thought process like and what was the scenario at home? Because obviously being Southeast Asians, their background is your family
parents
has to be
don't want to let the children go. Okay. I've made it very clear to my parents from a young age that I wanted to get out of Darwin.
Okay.
From I think early middle school, I had made up my mind. From year 8, I knew I wanted to do medicine, and from that stage onwards, I was also like, I want to go Monash. The idea for Monash medicine in Melbourne was because initially in year 6 we had a plan to move to Melbourne, and I was really excited about that. But then we never ended up moving. So that was the original reason for why I wanted to move down interstate. But there's a multitude of other factors. First of all, I'm someone who's very outgoing. I like spending time with friends. And personally, after living in Adelaide, I can see that Darwin has almost nothing compared to down south states in terms of stuff to do. Secondly, I'm someone who sitting in the aircon will start sweating, even in this room. So Darwin is way too hot and way too humid and way too sticky. Every time I walk out of the airport after a flight, it just hits me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm back in Darwin. But so those are like my two biggest reasons. This weather, I've been here 17 years. I've dealt with it, but I can't, I get breakouts of acne, I get everything. I just can't deal with it for longer. And now I've moved interstate. I'm loving the weather, and I'm loving the uni, loving life down there.
So that's lovely. So what was it easy convincing your parents?
I think because I had made up my mind quite a while ago, they accepted, and my parents were the sort of desi parents to push you to do what you wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
They supported me. They are supporting my sisters right now.
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to do medicine, they want to do this, they want to do that. My middle sister,
Yeah.
she wanted to go into law at one point. So my parents were supporting in doing that. So my parents were very supportive. And I think from an early age, they understood that I want to go and they would let me go.
Oh, that's amazing. That's good. I would say, obviously, it'd be hard on parents, but not every parent would be letting for the kid go.
100%. It's not only hard on them; it's also hard for the kid. But over time, you build the skills of being able to live alone.
Yeah.
You become more comfortable. The homesickness, after the first few months, the homesickness doesn't hit.
Okay.
And then every time you come home, it's more like a holiday.
Yeah.
Everyone treats you like you're a guest. So you have fun down there, you have fun at home. There's many plus sides to it.
Yeah, you get treated like a king. What about you, Adil? Like, what was it like for you, your year 12, got your 8R, and how was it for you?
No, thank you. It's a lovely experience by Maaz, but he's retreated back to Darwin when Adelaide is burning in 50-degree weather down there. So I don't know what he's talking about. The weather is beautiful.
It's not humid
monsoon season at the moment. Beautiful rain outside. Look, coming back to me, I guess I was pretty fixated. Well, not fixated, but I grew up quite involved in the community. In the Muslim community up here, quite engaged with my friends, families, and we had a collective understanding up here that it's probably a good idea to hold a talent up here. At least that's what my dad had initially thought of. He obviously never forced it on me, but that was his idea. And I guess that eventually materialized a bit later when I graduated from year 12, and I realized that I think Darwin does have, as understated as it is, I think there's a significant amount of potential over here in terms of the entrance into medicine, the practice of medicine, the plurality of it, and the opportunities that you get from here. Obviously, the excellence of medicine, you may find it in other institutions, Melbourne, Monash, Sydney, elsewhere. But I think the entrance into medicine, you can make it from any door. And I found that to be really welcoming in Darwin. So that was a great first start for me. And not only that, it allowed me, obviously, cut down on my travel costs, cut down on accommodation costs, cut down on food costs. So all these materialistic things, the real factors that you have to take into consideration, apart from the experiences that you can get when traveling outside, all those were real and real advantageous to me when someone decides to stay in Darwin. And that's what I found really appealing for me. That I had the community already here. I had the connections in the hospital. I had the connections in the community, in the GP community land as well. And I had the motivation and the support of the family around as well. Yeah. If I were to move interstate to study medicine, I think that would have severely handicapped me as to the attention span, the attention I can provide to medicine. Obviously, it's quite a intensive training for that. And, travel costs, flights, this and that, all that it does take a toll on you. So all that taking into consideration, that's why I decided to stay in the NT. And I would not take it any other way.
That's really cool. Just on that, where you said about entrance into medicine. Now, I understand that in NT, obviously, before there was Flinders, but there's CDU as well now. Interstate, let's say in Adelaide or Monash that you said, how much ATAR do you need to get into medicine, and how is it compared to NT? How is it different?
You can get a 99.95 and you won't be in medicine interstate.
What?
It is very, very difficult.
Whoa.
I know students with my ATAR and much higher UCATs who have not gotten in just because they are interstate local students.
Oh my God.
NT, so Adel raised a very good point where NT has its own advantages, where one of them is that you can get in, you stay with your family, you reduce travel costs and all of those. And one of the other advantages is that people who would normally in any other state not get into medicine and have to go through another pathway or just give up on their dream can get in.
Oh, so they can even
because the requirements are much lower in the NT for Darwin students.
Yeah.
So it's quite good here. Interstate, like I personally didn't get into Monash. That's why I'm in Adelaide. But I count as a rural student as well. I still didn't get in.
Yeah, that's highly competitive.
It's very competitive.
Yeah.
There's obviously multiple factors like ATAR, UCAT, then there's also the interview.
Yeah.
Every uni has their own weighting for them.
Yeah.
But so it is very difficult interstate overall, and NT is much easier for someone in the NT because the course is trying to push people to stay in the NT as well. Because as Adel said, and I agree with this, there is a lot of potential in the NT.
Yeah. So kids, if you don't have the best of ATA and you're not a top export like Maaz, stay in Darwin, yeah? Come see us at UMNT.
Even if you have a high ATA, you can stay back in the NT like my older brother did. And he's kicking goals now,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, and in terms of where you said about exposure to medicine, or the let's focus on the education, right? So let's say if someone purely wants to be the best doctor in the world, so if they study in NT, are they compromising on anything? And what do you think are the differences between, because obviously you both have taught, and I would say that it would be similar for other fields as well, like just not medicine, but other fields probably would have the same thing. So what do you guys think in that regard?
You go first.
Yeah, I think, look, in terms of getting the best of the best, that it's a different conversation, because you could say that medicine is best practiced in America, the most bleeding edge, or the most brand new medications come out of there, the research papers, all of that, and pay wise as well. So in terms of the best practice of medicine, that can be very. It's varied. You really can't say. And the best education you're gonna get. I mean, you just look at the metrics, the bare bones metrics of which universities are doing top for medicine. You get the Monash, Melbourne, Sydney, or you can go international if you want to get even further. Your education, Harvard, Oxford, all that. It's a whole different ball game if you want to go into the top medicine that you want to get into, the most challenging, the most competitive Ivy League, those sort of things. But I think that's a whole different ball game. Like, if you have an IQ that is absolutely outstanding, then sure, go chase your horses. But I think if you have something, something that you want to still contribute to the community, something that you can help the community with, I think this will give you the sufficient tools, the research capabilities, the clinical expertise that you can use and right away implement and heal your community as you need it.
Oh, that's cool.
I want to build on that. So Adel gave like a worldwide, more overall point of view. I want to give a more student's perspective point of view. Okay, with that, and specifically for Australia, rather than going outside. In terms of best medicine here, there's two ways you can divide it. One is just education, but then one is actually your clinical, what you learn in a clinical setting, and what you apply then later on as a doctor. Now, in terms of staying in Darwin versus Interstate, there's here recently, only this year, the CDU school has started. I don't know much about it. They haven't run yet, so I can't comment on that. But on the Flinders school, then obviously there's a lot of things I've heard. Because it is you could say relative to other new medical programs, it is a bit outdated. But it has its pros, because what I've heard from students and doctors in the NT and outside is that the best training and this is from students themselves, they say that the most they've learnt in a placement is when they came to Darwin Hospital.
Wow.
And that's because they had, I guess you can say,
such variety of cases.
Sorry?
Like what? This is
just generalized. In students, they learnt the most whilst doing their placement in Royal Darwin Hospital. But I guess you could also attribute that to the fact that Royal Darwin Hospital is always really under pressure, and students have to take on more than what they would be allowed to in another interstate hospital. So obviously that's like more rural / regional versus metro work. In terms of the uni course itself, I can break down the course itself. If anyone wants to, I can go really in depth in the courses, but basically putting it at a base level, what I would say is that the Flinders medical course here is really heavily looked down upon throughout Australia, because it is mainly targeted at postgraduates. And for an undergraduate student, you essentially the first 2 years, what I've heard from friends in second year right now, first year right now, and even fourth year right now, is that, you know, the first 2 years were kind of a waste, because when they started the MD section, they had to relearn everything, and then like they finally actually understood what they were learning. From my own course in Uni Adelaide though, what I can say is I've learnt stuff that I did not think I would learn in a year. I've learned a lot of things on the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, and the hematological system. Stuff which my cousins in Pakistan who are doctors didn't learn until they were in hospital.
Amazing.
So that's my perspective in terms of the actual courses.
No, that's really cool. So there can be a difference. So you're saying when it comes to academics, down south maybe better organized classes or courses, or academically it's better maybe down south. But you also mentioned, what I understood is, but when you come to placement wise, that you may actually get more attention to detail and you may learn more over here, also because of the variety of cases that you may find here, and you would go to a like a Royal Darwin hospital, like a public hospital. That's interesting. So I guess it depends, and I guess you can always catch up as well. Like it's not like it really. I feel like it's very subjective, especially in engineering. What I felt when I did my engineering overseas, then I did my master's here, right? And so for me, coming from overseas, I felt that all the Australian universities are already on a set standard, like they need to meet those standards. And then it boils down to how the curriculum is designed and who are the professors running it. That gives a massive impact. But if I wanted to get my edge on any subject, I can always do it outside. What I really felt was, if I wanted to be a best engineer, if I wanted to really learn something, it was, yes, uni matters, academics matters, but you can always learn a lot of stuff online, and from your own curiosity, actually go and approach businesses, engineering businesses, and, learn firsthand as well. So I felt like all the laws of, let's say, thermodynamics are the same, right? And so that was from an engineering perspective, I feel like it's more on yourself, more on you. And I felt uni was more like for making connections or having that partnership or getting that exposure to the industry and building yourself, not academically, but as a holistic person, like doing social clubs and stuff. That was my perspective.
I agree. I think university was a great time for, I think apart from just education, clinical work, whatever, engaging in the community. Like over here, we had the CDMSA club, which is a CDU Muslim Student Association. It was called MSS before. That really gave me an opportunity to connect with other people from other courses and actually strengthen my knowledge, my iman, and essentially, so the tools that I learned from medical school, I immediately then applied them onto my faith, such as the research skills that I was learning from my medical school, I was applying onto my faith. That expanded my horizons incredibly. I realized thereafter that I was much more in tune, I understood more. I was able to extract much more knowledge from scholars, from sheikhs, imams and whatnot, and be actively involved in discussions rather than being a bystander in those conversations. So that really enhanced my horizons incredibly. And I think that's an advice that I would say to anyone, wherever they go in terms of university, education-wise, or whatever you do. Reflect your skills from the education you take onto your own faith. Don't isolate the two, and don't walk away from one or the other. And I think it's very important that your professional skills that you learn in your career, implement that onto your faith as well, and make something new out of it. I don't mean making a new religious something. I mean making something that is, well formed, that is, you can call yourself, be proud of it, and make some new good deeds out of that, for example.
That's cool. So, Maaz, do you think, like what Adel said, just to add on that, he said when you study in Darwin, you have more, let's say, student leadership opportunities, and let's say you are more able to engage with other stakeholders as well. And is it the same down south, or how is it in down south unis?
In down south unis, I would again like to answer this from two perspectives.
Okay.
One from an Islamic, like your faith point of view, your community in terms of faith.
Yep.
And then one from like your university community. Straight away, university community down south has much more. Full stop.
Oh, okay.
Because the student society is much larger. There's
okay.
much more events going on. There's things you can convene. For example, I'm in 2 clubs now: the Adelaide Uni Cardiovascular Society, in which I'm a treasurer this year, and then the Adelaide Uni Psychiatry Society, in which I'm a preclinical officer.
Wow.
So, and like, there's so many that you can't keep up to date with it.
Wow.
So you have so many opportunities to get involved, and there is so many people that come to that you make so many connections from that. So I've got connections all the way up to 5th and 6th year med students who I've just kept meeting here and there.
Wow, yeah.
And now they're like, we keep in touch. Like, I talk to them when I see them. It's hello, hi. From an Islamic point of view, that then depends on the individual person. Now, me personally, I've gone and I've kept in touch, and I've created a link with some older year and my year students who are all Muslims. So we've got our own group then within the medical school. So now we have an event coming up, which is MedCamp. MedCamp obviously involves a lot of partying and drinking in the nighttime. And then throughout the day, it's actually during Ramadan, so people are fasting. Yeah. So then me and some older year students, what we're going to do is we're going to go drive there with our cars and support the first year students, because first years don't ever want to miss out on MedCamp. Everyone goes to MedCamp because there's a lot of activities throughout the day, which is really fun, and you build a lot of friends. Yeah. Some of your lifelong friends are built from that one day at the start, in the starting weeks, for me at least, and for everyone else it's been like that. And what I would say is, like, what we were doing is we're going to go bring food for iftari for those students to help them out, because obviously the ones convening MedCamp, they are non-Muslims, they wouldn't understand as well. But in terms of community as well, outside of, like, that's our medical society, Muslim community, we have our own things. Then there's the university's Muslim community, which is insanely huge.
Oh, is it?
There's prayer rooms, masallas everywhere.
Wow.
You can get lost in it as well for someone, but you can also get really involved in it. So sometimes they have games nights and they have lots of things going on. And then they have like 2 Jummahs and everything.
Wow.
And then in terms of the wider community, like UMNT and just Muslim community in general, that from a student perspective is a bit hard to get involved in without like your parental connections and whatnot. So I've got some friends whose parents have kind of like adopted me, that bring me to some places and whatnot. So I'm in that community to some extent. But then again, it depends on individual person. You go to the mosque more, you say hi to people, you talk to people there. You can easily build those connections and get involved. But if you don't do that, you can easily fall astray.
That's an interesting perspective. So let's say fun-wise, I think you sort of answered it. So if someone, like, in a halal way, right, you're in uni, you want to have fun. So obviously it seems there's a lot more to do in Interstate, SA. How is it in Darwin? If you want to have fun, can you have fun here?
Yeah, 100%. Well, what type of fun are you looking for, really?
Halal fun.
I said halal way, right? Like,
halal fun.
Halal, you know.
Look, I mean, I've always had my friends up here, so we would always, go out late night drives or go out fishing, camping.
Like the Fajr coffee as well.
Yeah, Fajr coffee started a bit later, but there was still like a component of that. Like we'd meet up regularly at the beach or something like that. So we would always be engaged. And I mean, at uni, like all of the friends would be there at uni, at library. So we'd just sit down, chill out, do things of that sort. So I mean, like it's tough to like give you a list of activities that you can do, because I mean the list can be incredibly long or incredibly short. Doesn't really matter. It's about you having a good community around you. So as long as you engage, you're going to be engaged and have fun if you have a good bunch of friends with you. And that's the same even if you go down south, is what I imagine. Even if you go down south and if you don't have a community around you, then you'll just might as well just isolate. And there's incredible amounts of isolation, depression, and
I have a lot of friends actually
mental health issues.
Have had that.
Exactly. So I don't think it matters about what city that you're living in. I think it's more about the community you have around you, what you nurture for yourself, and what the people look up to you as.
I guess it's good. So to summarize until now, right? So it can be subjective. It can be subjective where you want to study. I think it boils down really on you or where you want to go, depending on what type of person you are. If you are like an outdoorsy, fun-loving guy, let's say like Maaz, and then you're going to have a great time, but down south. But you should also have the ability to restrain yourself and not either get depressed or, get into alcohol.
Fall into the wrong company.
Falling to the wrong company.
That's the biggest thing.
Because that's highly possible. There's no one looking after you. You're completely new. You can do whatever you want. And you can possibly have the same level of fun in Darwin as well. But, it's different because you know a lot of people here. Like someone will always see you like, oh, that's his kid, and what were you doing?
I would like to interject there. I think that's a good thing, and that my dad always posed this to my older brother, myself, and my little brother as well. Darwin is a small town, and it's a good thing that it's a small town, because if someone finds you in a place that you shouldn't be, they will let your dad know. So
let the whole
firstly, exactly. So firstly, you shouldn't be there where you shouldn't be. And if you are found, you will someone will dibby-dob on you. So look, in some aspects that's a good thing, and in some aspects for someone who wants to be a bit of a menace, that's probably a bad thing. But I would advocate for the first.
So it's subjective, guys. Like it really depends on you, how you are as a person. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to employment when you actually become a doctor. Now, you haven't become a doctor yet, but you have, Adel. Do you think it matters once you become a doctor if you studied from Flinders or University of South Australia or Monash? Like, how is it after you graduate?
Hands down, does not matter.
Does not matter.
Does not matter.
Oh, in Australia.
Wow.
In Australia, I would say Darwin has the easiest employment opportunities, especially for doctors that graduate. I'm not sure now, after the CDU University has started their med program, because at least with the Northern Territory, you are bonded by the government for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Or this is at least for me, for myself. I'm not sure if the rules have changed now, but as soon as you graduate, you have a compulsory period, a two-year period, that you're employed by the NT government, and you're supposed to act as a doctor in those 2 periods in the Northern Territory. So look, the government wants you. So even if you have barely anything on your resume, you're going to get a job. So whether you go to Sydney, Darwin, whoop, you're going to get a job. It's about what smart options you're going to, what smart choices you're going to pick. And I think the smart choice is subjective as it is, to stay home, build off from the connections your parents have made, build off from the community that you already have, and power through, and you'll go from one goal to the other.
That's really interesting. So it's subjective, guys. It's subjective, and it depends. And I just thought, is there an option of actually doing like a semester in a different uni, so you get best of both worlds? Can you just go for a semester here and come back?
Do you want to do medicine? If you want to do medicine, we can have a different chat.
No, in South Australian unis or other unis, they do allow you go semesters overseas with their
overseas
connection.
Okay, now that's a different podcast.
Plus.
Okay, that's a different.
It's a big plus side.
Yeah.
I have seen some students' stories. They're posting the most beautiful photos of the Alps, the lakes, and whatever. And I can't wait till I get that opportunity.
You go drive to Catherine now, you'll see some green islands on the way.
I've been to Alice Springs, and when it rains, it looks like Switzerland.
Wow, really? That's Garibon ka Switzerland. Okay.
I do want to add one final thing before we move on, is that for those listening, that if you hate Darwin for whatever reason you hate it, you want to get out. Getting out will not solve your issue. That's the one thing I want to say.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Getting out will not make it better. Yeah. It is, like Adel said, it is your community who you're with. That's amazing. And when you now his point of view, his perspective was building off of the connections he had. Yeah. Mine was extending into a new state. That was my perspective. Yeah, that I wouldn't imagine that every other kid would be able to do that, and they can get lost as well. Like it's so guys, be careful, right? And at the end of the day, because you said that, was there a point in both of your studies where you were like, oh, I shouldn't have left Darwin, or I should have gone from this place? Was there
For me, I never felt that. And I would say that was primarily because we had placements in different areas like Catherine, Alice Springs, Nhulunbuy, all these different towns that we can go to where we could expand the connections by a marginal portion, but we still got to experience new things, new environments, new diseases to unlock, I guess, when you explore new places. So I never felt that I was missing out. I mean, whenever I do get some holiday break, some time off, I can go down to Sydney, Adelaide, wherever I do need to go to, like I love visiting those places, but I would hate living there. The transport is terrible. Oh gosh! Imagine owning a car in Sydney. Jeez.
No, don't.
Oh, you should ask forgiveness from God for that.
I was in Sydney for a week. I'm like,
Sydney's bad. Sydney's bad.
Well, Adelaide has small roads too.
No, Adelaide's good. Adelaide's good. I
can't hate. I can't hate on Adelaide. I have a bias.
You have a conflict of interest there.
Personally, I have a car there. I have a motorbike there.
Yeah.
Roads are good. I'm driving there. I'm getting around. I'm enjoying life.
Yeah. So you never had any. You were like.
Only thing I can say is if you are someone that likes to drive a bit unsafe or a bit, speed a bit, you will get caught there. There's too many cameras.
Welcome to Darwin.
That's one of the plus sides.
When you go Catherine, there's nothing there anyway. Okay. So I guess it boils down to who you are as a person, right? And it is also, I would say, anyone who's in year 12 right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would say first, try to understand who you are as a person, and that will have a huge impact of whether you should go interstate or not, right? And also, you don't want, especially as a Muslim, you just don't want to be recognized as Maaz the doctor or Adil the doctor. You have a you need to look at it a holistic perspective. You are Adil the son. You're also Adil the brother, Adil the friend, Adil the Muslim, Adil the Darwinian, Adil the Australian. So you got to think of how you're going to contribute to other people's life. Because as Muslims, we must, because Allah loves them the most to do most benefit to others, regardless of what their religion is.
Sadaqah Jariyah.
Sadaqah Jariyah. So where can you have most impact to others as well? Because we can't, especially as Muslims, I think we can't just be focused on ourselves. So it really depends. Like if your thought process is like Maaz's, where he wants to expand his network, and if you have the ability of being have that knowledge and being that, and then that's different. But if any other kid, I probably wouldn't recommend it. So know yourself and don't just pinpoint uni versus uni. Think of it as a holistic decision, which is going to impact not only you but others as well. What do you guys think? Just closing comments.
Totally agree. And now that the new CDU course is opened, you also have more opportunity within Darwin. It's 1, easier to get in. 2, you have a different course. 3, you might not get called a flintern.
That was a good one.
And my advice to people that are going to be graduating, getting into university, is first and foremost, don't look at your city as your downfall. Look at your friends, look at your family, look at what they are doing, see how you can contribute to them. What is your larger purpose in your life? What do you want to achieve in life? These are big questions, but I think they are big questions for a reason. You are stepping into a bigger role. Be an adult, mature up, because that's what life is going to ask of you. If you decide to move out of your town into a new space, you will need to take these decisions much more earlier, much more quickly about what you want to do with your life. If you take that decision of moving out fairly early and quickly, great. You will by force have to mature up, or you will find yourself in a deep, dark, terrible place. So either you can do the safe option, that is to stay back and understand yourself a bit more, explore out the options a bit more as well, or build on top of the connections that you already have, your family has, your friends have, and whatnot, and excel at that. Or you can move out early, excel, and then make a name for yourself. You can do that. But all at the same time, making sure that you are contributing to your religion, to your faith, to your iman, making sure your heart is healthy, filled, and don't let it rot. So I think that's my closing words.
Beautiful. Well, I would like to thank you, Maaz, Jazakallahu khairan, and thank you, Adel. Thank you so much, and I really hope that we were able to provide some value to you guys listening online. And if there's anything, reach us out, come UMNT or come find us anywhere. We're in Darwin.
Or Adelaide.
Adelaide. Adelaide.
No worries. Assalamu
University
alaikum.
of South Australia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.